Okay, now this wasn't intentional, but is quite, I don't know, what's the word?
Irritating.
I was trying to think of a positive word, like, what is it? Oh, mine's blanked.
All right.
It's like April is Autism Awareness Month, okay? So us talking about autism, as you read in the title, is quite appropriate. That's the word, appropriate.
All right. Well, well, I'll just say right here, I didn't know we had a month about autism, so there you
Even
go.
even that, apparently there's a logo for it, which basically is like four coloured jigsaw pieces.
All right.
That's the autism symbol, apparently.
Okay. Well, that's new to me.
And it's new to me as well. I didn't know what that was.
All
But
right.
uh, more specifically like this is how many people on the internet seem to think there's a real connection between those with autism, or specifically on the autism spectrum,
Hmm.
and Sonic the Hedgehog.
Hmm.
And I'll say this, and the one person who sent me the comment on my Lost World review, I'm gonna spare you from the name because
Hmm.
if you're watching this, you know who the fuck you are,
Aye.
and he commented this, and I will show you the comment, and this is in my email as well. Don't watch this fat autistic fedora wearing Sonic fucker. Go watch Gregzilla's review instead. Let's break this down, shall we?
I like autistic fedora wearing fucker.
Sonic fucker, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
that,
new.
that's
That's a
no,
new one.
not to me. It's just he could put some commas in there. It's pretty much yeah. At least he actually tried writing a good sentence.
Yeah.
But
Although I like the idea of an autistic wearing fedora person. That's kind of a
yeah,
cool image.
uh, first of all, promoting other people's videos on my channel and videos, like, fair enough. I don't mind. You want to watch go watch Regular's review? Go ahead, go watch Greg's review. It's pretty much like a JonTron video with
Hmm.
animation. Two, yes, I am kind of fat. I have a slightly chunky body,
Hmm.
and I don't really care.
Well, if you're
Yeah,
comfortable where you are, that's all that matters.
yeah. It's like, you're fat. Congratulations, you have eyes. Anything else you want to tell me? Fedora wearing. Yeah, I wear a fedora. And I understand, and I am aware of the stereotype on the internet by the alpha males who anyone with a neck beard and a fedora is instantly an asshole. And
Well, again, like I said,
also
Dan's
has
not
a Tumblr page for some
yeah,
reason.
but we'll put it this way: Dan's not the first person to do game reviews and wear a fedora for it, and be known for that.
Yeah, to me, it's just a hat. It's a
Yeah.
style. It's like, if you don't want to go on the internet, you're going to be considered an asshole. You're going to be, yeah.
You
Yeah,
have to
in real life, though, no one gives a flying fuck. You wear a hat, you wear a fucking hat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's whether or not you want to make that your image, basically. There's the
I would
difference.
rather wear a fedora than have my trousers around my fucking ass. Pull your fucking pants up, okay?
uh,
Oh, I was drinking coffee at the same time. And
caffeine.
Sonic Fucker is just like, hey, you like Sonic, you like Sonic the Hedgehog, wants to fuck it.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
congratulations for bringing up the IGN video where they say they want people to have sex with Big the Cat.
Yeah, well,
Congratulations.
yeah, no, you're a bit late to that party. That's been in
Yeah,
com.
but the autistic part is the one that pisses me off.
Yeah, it's interesting. It pisses you off more. It sort of more amuses me.
It amuses it amuses you because you are on the autistic spectrum, aren't you?
Yeah, well, look, okay,
We've talked about this before, haven't we? Once or twice.
we have talked this before. In fact, actually, before we get into talking about this, I actually did something like this similar with my friend Gems of Rambles. And if you go on my channel, here's a plugging for I did have a little thing called Sega Chinwag Sonic and Autism. So I have talked about this a little bit before with him, just in a general, where you have it, I have it. What do we think of the whole deal thing? But I'm glad to talk about it again if you want. So, like I said, you got this version and you got my version with James.
Mm.
So you got two options
Yeah.
to go, guys.
First of all, I'm not autistic at all.
Mm.
I've never been diagnosed with it. I've even recently I had a psych eval to determine what I have, and at best I have depression
Mm.
for reasons that are obvious if you've been on my channel long enough.
Yeah, I mean,
So, but as far as autism, no, just completely normal 27-year-old.
yeah.
And apparently to the internet, No normal 27 or middle-aged man or young adult is normal to like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well, in my case, what is normal anymore in this world? I mean, I used to think it was hell. I used to think it was basically, oh, everybody likes Star Wars, but now I've realized that isn't a thing anymore. But hey, life
No,
changes.
I understand the internet is a cruel place. It's just it should be a more accepting one.
Yeah,
If the internet is going so far as to do petitions and throw insults and death threats to the most menial fucking thing, like
mm.
Tracer's pose that shows off her ass in Overwatch. People
Yeah,
got
that was a
pissed
deal.
off with that.
Yeah, that was a thing, wasn't it? Apparently.
Yeah. If people get pissed off talking about my diversity, it's like, why the hell should only autistic people like Sonic? That's the mentality I'm getting from this.
Yeah, I mean, really, the crux of this whole thing is basically saying that if you happen to like Sonic, therefore you must have that in some form or manner. And it's like, look, mate, people with autism get into stuff regardless of what the hell it is. I mean, I've met people who have been into Doctor Who, Thomas the Tank Engine. I mean, give you a good example. A few years ago, I was really into Robot Wars, and I was like around about 9 or 10 when it really was a big deal. And for me, I just couldn't stop talking about it. I lived and breathed it. I watched it. Went to see it live, and it was a big thing for me. But as time has gone on, as if I have to grow up and move on with life, that's sort of just being pushed to the side. And most of the stuff I'm into, I wouldn't never really call them solely that autistic people like. I mean, you look at something like Red Dwarf, which I remember the weird thing with Red Dwarf for a bit was there's a larger audience of it that are female who watched it. Which again, when you think of science fiction shows, you think of oh, it's only for nerdy people or whatever. And ironic, um, other quick stories. Funny enough, I actually went to the Doctor Who 40th anniversary convention with me and my mum, and she noted that how many men were there, and surprisingly, how much of them changed when the show finally came back on.
Hmm. But it's just I blame people like to bring up like the quality of the games, which is subjective. It's
Yeah,
entirely subjective. Oh, Sonic 06. Okay, that's one bad game and about 60 of them.
yeah,
Name another. Oh, Sonic Free Runners. That's two. Sonic
yeah,
Rise Lyric. That's three.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's kind of the
that's
reputation.
still a small percentage. That's still. Um, Haydox actually did a video about why Sonic games don't suck.
Hmm,
In the 15-year span of Sonic the Hedgehog, his subjective opinion,
yeah,
in 15 years, only one of them was a bad game.
yeah,
What does that? What does that say? It's like all of a sudden
yeah.
one bad
But
game.
again,
All of a sudden the entire series is bad.
yeah, I think the problem is like it's not to do with really the entire series of it. It's a reputation that it had from that point onwards. I mean, you look at stuff like I think for a lot of people, like take Star Trek for instance. Star Trek was very popular when it was on, then it was canned, brought back on, didn't do as well, then turned into a film series. Kind of went up and down, and then the Next Generation series happened, and then they got their own movie spin-off, and they ended with Nemesis. And a lot of people felt like it was a bit of a weak ending to both the show and this current and the movie series, and then obviously we have the sort of basically alternative universe one that's going on.
Then there was Enterprise on TV.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But again, it's
Yeah.
like for a lot of people, they just felt like the reputation of what they loved about Star Trek for a while was kind of muted out, or it just felt like oh they've lost the magic or something or whatever. And even though most of the stuff they did was relatively good or an interesting take, it was still that attitude of this isn't the thing I really enjoy. This is not that X factor that I came in for to watch anyway. And the same with Sonic the Hedgehog, we said it before, is like the reputation of because it being this big icon for gaming in the mid 90s, that to see it being, for them to see these big slip ups, massive slip ups in their minds, is like, it's telling you're being a joke. You're supposed to be this grand, you're meant to be, the one showing us the way forward, and yet you keep slipping on your own banana peel, for God's sakes. I mean,
Well, the same could be said for many other game franchises as well, like Call of Duty.
look at Mass Effect. I mean, look at Mass Effect Origins. I won't now. All right, we won't be here and just do the whole jokes about look at the bad texture stuff. But really think about it. Mass Effect is very popular with a lot of people, and they do treat it very seriously. Even
Mass Effect 3 was good, okay? Mass Effect 3 was a fucking masterpiece to me.
I know, but even that, even Mass Effect 3, even with the ending, for a lot of people, they felt like as a series, as a whole, it was generally a pretty good, well done sort of a take on a sort of RPG genre. And now we have Andromeda, and for many people, what they hate about it is that it's the legacy that it has, and this installment comes out, and it's like, what are you doing, man? It's like, really? You're trying to go forwards with this mess? And that's what's pissing off most people.
Yeah. Like you said, it's also the reputation as well. It's like different factors as to why many people perceive like Sonic is for autistic people, and if
Mm.
you're autistic, you have to like Sonic. One of the arguments about brought up saying why do people associate autism with Sonic is, oh, it's just color coded characters that you can relate to. It's like that's a straw hat argument.
No, I mean it's kind of like basically saying, okay, if you can say to you who the characters are by just color, it's like we're saying, well, the hedgehog's blue, the fox one is orange, the echidna one's red. It's that type of shit.
Yeah, but even that, you can say, okay, that's pretty much nearly every child aimed series. That's My
I mean,
Little
that's what
Pony.
most shows
That's
are.
Pokemon.
You look at Teletubbies. I mean, they're all individually coded to basically so kids know which one is who. Even when they don't really act any differently, or at least I don't know. I haven't watched the show in years, so I can't really tell you. But that's the point. Is like if you give them clear distinctions about them, whether it be in color or personality, they'll be able to point them out.
And one of the biggest, can't believe I'm going to bring these three people up. The second one is not that bad, but still, it is what he does on the internet is very loud extrovert compared to the majority of introverts on the internet. Like, first of all, we have Chris Chan.
Oh boy, oh god.
He's someone who suffers from autism and made Sonicguru. Apparently, but he could have done that on his own. No one would have give a shit about him. But no, the internet took what he did and made him infamous to everyone on the internet. And like, yeah, this is the typical Sonic fan. They make their OCs, they make their own fanfics, their slash fictions, whatever. This is what a Sonic fan does.
Again, that's no different from Star Trek fans who want to see Spock and Kirk have sex in zero gravity.
That's no different from Star Trek. That's no different from Final Fantasy VII. The amount of Cloud Sephiroth slash fiction on the internet is humongous compared to the Sonic and Shadows slash fix.
Hell, well, actually, it would be a laugh if someone did a video basically saying which is worse, Final Fantasy slash fix or Sonic slash fix. Oh god, that would be a right fucking weird day, wouldn't it?
Please don't. The second one is Sammy, classic Sonic fan. Now, he's just a kid. So his video about they only do classic, only do this. I commented on one of his videos. Can't remember what I wrote. I'll probably put a screenshot up. But I think he did it for the troll factor. But still, a lot of people took him very seriously. Even when I first saw him, I took him seriously until a bit later. It's like, fuck, he's just a stupid kid trying to get a rile out of everyone. So.
Exactly. I mean, for God's sake, the fact that he knows he can get a rile out of, that's the dangerous part. Ugh.
And the last one is I'm Not Hall Resident.
Yeah, him.
He's the one who did. First of all, he's a man child, a literal man child. And secondly, he's the one who started the whole Green Eye debacle with Sonic.
Yeah, if you want to know where that whole incident happened, when you look back at the history of Sonic bullshit, basically, you look back and thinking, so when did this all happen? How did that happen? Well, I have to tell you the grand tale of a guy named this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to point you just basically point at him and just go, him.
But because of these people is the reason why everyone assumes all Sonic fans are autistic, and it pisses me the fuck off.
What's interesting for me is actually this happened to me quite a while back. I remember years ago when Crash Bandicoot was left by Naughty Dog. Remember it's ironic now Crash Bandicoot's coming back, but when Naughty Dog was saying we no longer have the series, we're going on to do this Jak and Daxter stuff. I remember getting really annoyed at that, and I wanted to. And ironically, I was in that same state of I argued with people, say why did they do this? Crash Bash wasn't good. Blah 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 blah. Da, 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 da. And the funny thing is that, again, this was long before YouTube, long before internet really worked for the general public, basically. And in a weird way, I was kind of like saved from that, because if I had the power that we have today with the way we do these podcasts, for instance, again, it's kind of, I think that's the danger is now we have the accessibility to basically shout our opinions out to people and either make an ass of ourselves or make it seem like, oh, look, this guy is one of a million of other people of this entire group of weirdos. And I think that's often been the worst case scenario. In fact, again, me and James, again in our video, we have talked about the idea of, why some people associate with it, why some people don't associate with it. And again, it's like everybody is different at the end of the day. Everybody as a person has different likes, different means, different reasons for enjoying something. A lot of the times, it's never just for the simple reason of you like this because blah. It could be for other reasons, for more personal reasons, for instance. And again, I think people often just like to cloud it over, just basically here are the weird oddball people who happen to like this bizarre stuff. In the same way, like I said, science fiction for a long time was viewed as basically for people who are very antisocial, on their own, not very caring about the outside world. That was kind of the cliche image, the geek thing, as we call it now. And ironically now, geek culture has become a big deal in the worldwide that we now live in. And again, even as you said with this whole autism awareness thing. In fact, actually, my friend James, I hope again he doesn't take offense to this. I mean, he didn't enjoy it. In fact, actually, he was at work the other day, and on break, and a couple of his friends actually were just reposting this whole thing about it. And what annoyed him about it is that it wasn't that they knew about the thing; it's just that they just did it for the sake of views. In the sense that it's again like the idea is that if we were to do again a Mass Effect sort of Andromeda thing, we would have just done it for the sake of views because this is a big thing, we got to talk about it. But really, we don't because we're not that really interested. But again, it annoyed him because they didn't really care what it meant, and particularly they were surprised to say, "Wait a minute, don't you have it?" I was like, "No, I don't have it. I don't know where you got that fucking idea from." And so again, it's that idea of you're defined by that word. I think that's one of the things that he hated about it. And in some ways, I don't like to sort of think myself as that. I like to see myself as I am where I have it. I tell people I have it, but I don't want to be defined by it. In many ways, my personality is the way I am by what I do and what I have. Not necessarily because of autism, is because I'm just Nicky Hutchinson. I just happen to do the things I do because that's the person I am.
Yeah, it's just you shouldn't. Like I said, the labels thing, and I guess that's what really irked me about the comment I got. It's just because I like Sonic, or even just anything else. If it's just because I like it, doesn't mean that I happen to carry that stigma. It's like, oh, you're a Sonic fan. That means you that. No, fuck off. Go kill. Just
yeah.
I always say go kill yourself. Just. That's how much it actually annoys me. About the connection between autism and Sonic. Yes, autistic people like Sonic. Not all Sonic fans are autistic, and not all autistic people like Sonic.
Exactly. I was going to say I have met a lot of people with autism who don't give a shit what I like, and completely different things, and
it's like one of our friend Mike.
Yeah.
Known him for 2 decades. Coming close to 2 decades.
Yeah.
He don't give 2 shits about Sonic.
No, I mean hell, he doesn't even care about Ghostbusters, and this is before the whole big, female Ghostbusters stuff, but whatever. But again, it's like he has different interests as well. I mean, ironically, you can class as the worst thing you could do is class as the same person. Honestly, us two, if you've ever seen us or heard us talk, or even when we do a little sketch together, you can tell we are very different people. I mean, again, we enjoy each other's company, and we do like certain things, and we can talk about certain subjects and whatever.
Yeah,
but
like
generally speaking,
like Cultural Hall animations or
yeah, I mean,
Jerry
we talk
Anderson.
about like Hanna-Barbera, sort of animation, comics and stuff. We can do that. But generally, for what we are as people, as individuals, we are very much night and day. And I'm not taking that as an insult to him. It's very much we just do our things differently.
And I want to keep stressing this. I am not autistic.
But then again, the fact is, Dan, is that you're saying Mike is autistic, you met me, you met Junior. I mean, you have been around a lot of autistic people for years, haven't you?
Yeah. And maybe growing up, I may have sometimes actually adapted to what you and Mike act like. But at the end of the day, I'm my own person. Is it a bit weird to like something that's intended for children? Yeah, a little bit, but nothing stopping people from playing Pokemon Go. Nothing stopping people from collecting My Little Pony toys.
Yeah.
Nothing stopping people from being cosplay artists.
Yeah. And again, if it's just for the sake of fun, I mean, that's the reason why we do this. It's fun. It's entertainment. It's a bit of a laugh, As long as we never cross that undefined line of basically how far can you take it before it becomes really immorally wrong. That's when you worry. But generally speaking, no. We just, again, we do it because it's a piece of entertainment and we enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah. If basically at the end of the day, it's just if you want to like something, just like it. You
Mm.
don't. You want to be a fan of something, be a fan.
Yeah, you shouldn't be ashamed. I think that's the one thing as well. If you are
Unless it's
something,
something completely amoral, in which case, don't fucking do
yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, again, that's what I mean. Is that basically the point is that if you enjoy something for the sake of just it gives you pleasure, it gives you something to enjoy and talk about and socialize with other people, please embrace it, enjoy it. Don't feel afraid by it or anything. I mean, we live in an age now where MLP was, is a massive fan base that primarily combines of men. I never thought I would ever live in a world like that. I really didn't. And it's not because, oh, it's just a silly girl thing. It's like the same way like I didn't think Transformers would ever come back. I thought like, well, it's kind of a odd toy in a cute show. That's never going to come back in a big way, but it has. So there you go. You just never know.
We live in a day and age where you go to a cinema and what's playing Ghost in the Shell, Power Rangers, and Beauty and the Beast, and it's not 1993.
Exactly, yeah. So there you go. You can never tell what type of audience are going to go for this stuff anyway. And most of the time, it's even when you think it's like, okay, something like Beauty and the Beast, for instance, you think those are going to appeal to the people who remember the animated film or people who didn't watch it but kind of felt like, it's a cartoon, not really interested, but think, oh, this is going to be a more grown-up version of that. That will appeal to them. So like I said, you never know until you actually put it in front of the screen of people.
Then, for again, end of the day, again, firstly, liking Sonic the Hedgehog is not a crime. Okay.
No. I think we should really make that. We should make that plainly clear. If you enjoy Sonic, that's good with us. If it's just, even if you're just playing the games, fair enough. That's great.
Yeah, play the games, read the comics if they're still around by the time this comes out.
Yeah.
Watch the cartoons, whatever. Just enjoy it. It's nothing wrong against that. If someone says, "Oh, you can't you're probably autistic," just fucking ignore them. But again, I had to bring this, even though I could have ignored this one, but I had to bring it up because Autism Awareness Month seemed kind of appropriate, and B, this just pissed me off beyond belief to a point we had to talk about it.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm very much at home with what I am and what I do. And again, like I said, I'm glad to talk about autism, but I never see it as like that has to be something I talk about all the time.
It's not something to be purged.
No.
Like Sonic, if you want to like Sonic, you want to get into the games, play Adventure 1, play the classics. If you don't know what autism is, research it. And I don't mean a 2-minute Google search. I mean actually look into it. I've been around you, Mike, Junior, and a few other people who have autism, and they are some of the nicest people you ever fucking meet in your life.
Exactly. I mean, hell, who do you think is responsible for making half this stuff work? I mean, think about it. We're now talking on machines and system operations that most people would still struggle for, but there are some people out there with autism who can find this stuff very easy to do. So there you go. That may be a bit little cocky in my end, but I'm just saying that this is the thing. You can never judge. Don't judge by a name or a cover because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and even though there are autistic Sonic fans, not every fan is autistic, and not every autistic person likes Sonic.
Yeah.
Just stop, okay? Stop with the comparison. Stop with the researched scientific proof bullshit. Because I want to punch that guy. I really do. If it's scientifically proven that autistic people like Sonic, if it's scientifically proven that you came out ass first.
Well, it's kind of like, remember when what they did with the real Ghostbusters? There was a bunch of people who kind of, did a survey of saying, we scientifically distilled what you need to do to make the show better. It's like, well, where's your research? They never bothered showing it, but they basically said, do it anyway. And it's like,
Yeah, there's no scientific research or anything backed up evidence.
Yeah, especially if it's basically, if you're behind something that is already popular with kids, popular with adults, and is doing well on the ratings, it's like, what exactly do you need to fix? That's basically, I think that's the best way of summing this up is basically with autism, with some people, depending on who they are, at the end of the day, it's that it's not always the case where it needs fixing, all right? Autism is not a thing that you can simply screw on and say, there you go, it's done. Sometimes it's more complicated than that, sometimes it's much easier than that, but at the end of the day, it's not something you can distill and say that needs fixing.